My name is Jim Nelson. I'm talking to you as a volunteer for the American Lung Association Arizona Chapter COPD Coalition. And I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about resources for people with COPD or caregivers of people with COPD. I was diagnosed about 12 years ago and was, of course, disappointed, scared, frightened, terrified, whatever term you want to use. But I'm also extremely stubborn, and part of that stubbornness led me into doing as much research as I possibly could on the disease, on the progression of it, on what can be done, on medications, on exercise, whatever it might be. Knowledge is power. You've heard that before, but it's so, so very true, especially when it comes to somebody with compromised lungs. The internet is a tremendous source of a lot of things, but it's also a tremendous source of information on COPD, on and about COPD. And I'll give you some organizations to look up in a second. The links to these organizations will be presented with this podcast, so you can look those up. I won't recite them for you, but they will be available. First and foremost, I think, is the American Lung Association itself. The website has a disease directory where you can look up the information, causes, treatments, and so forth on various diseases. There's excuse me, information on smoking cessation, air quality information for your area, research that is being done, and there are American Nation headquarters, if you will, in every state. Some states have more than one. The National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute is another excellent source. They deal with, obviously, lung, heart, cardiovascular disorders, sleep disorders. They have a list of clinical trials that are underway on their website. They even have links to recipes for heart health. National Jewish Health, which is headquartered in Denver, I should say. They have branches all over Colorado. I think they're limited to Colorado. But they have an excellent respiratory hospital. They have done an incredible amount of research on lung diseases. They have a lot of health information on their website, research, educational programs, that sort of thing. The COPD Foundation, which is kind of a parent group for some of these others, provides information for patients and for caregivers, resources for medical professionals, educational programs, and again, research. There's a website called COPD Alert, which is an informal website. It deals with, it has chat rooms, discussion groups, this type of thing. More of an informal setting, and you can interact with some of your fellow patients. Respiratory therapy, if you can talk to your physician into prescribing respiratory therapy for you. Most hospitals have that, have a program for that. It's an excellent place to find out information. Not only will the personnel there work with you on the machines, on exercise, but they will also give you lessons, classes on nutrition, on medication, on basically living with COPD. Support groups, there are a tremendous number of support groups in almost any community for people with breathing problems. The American Lung Association has what is called the Better Breathers Club. That is a support group that you can certainly join. Support groups are excellent because it gives you a way to exchange information, to exchange ideas, just communicate with your fellow patients as to what does work, what doesn't work. Excuse me. There are support groups online. I belong to one called EFFORTS, EFFORTS, which is, again, an online support group. We email each other, we post information that we find, we post internet links, we chat with each other about what's going on in our lives. We support each other, we try to emphasize exercise, we try to help people who are just joining the group to learn more about the disease, give them more resources. Respiratory rallies, which are held periodically by, for instance, the American Lung Association. These, again, are excellent sources of information. There are professionals there from ALA, for instance, who will give presentations on lung function, on COPD, chronic bronchitis. There are medical professionals, and just a tremendous amount of information, literature you can pick up. Libraries are an excellent source of information, either printed works, or libraries also have computers if you don't have access to one. Councils on Aging, many times, will have programs or information on COPD. Health fairs, most health fairs will have a COPD contingent or a breathing lung disorder contingent to them. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about the lung helpline. Again, this is American Lung Association. It is called Helpline. It's 1-800-LUNG-USA. It's 1-800-586-4872 if you're like me and hate dialing numbers. They have an array of professionals who can answer just about any question you can come up with as far as the disease, treatment, prognosis, medication, whatever it may be. They also have a smoking cessation segment that can help you if you are still smoking. That's a few of the resources. There are tens of thousands of sites on the internet, most of them good, most of them very factual about what to do with your COPD. Again, knowledge is power. The more knowledge you have, the less fear you'll have in your life. So take the time, do the research, ask the questions. Thanks a lot.